Hello everybody and welcome to the first race of the 2023 Samsung Offline Racing League. We are here on a beautiful sunny day at the Daytona Motor Speedway, the world's center of racing, for 50 laps, 125 miles, and to kick this season off. And really looking forward to this one. Daytona, the season opener, the traditional season opener. Really looking forward to this one. Always a chaotic race, always entertaining. Lots of lead changes, lots of battling. I'm really looking forward to this one, and of course, very different series to what has been shown in the past on the channel. It's going to be interesting to take a look at these guys, see how they go. Obviously, equal ratings this year. How much that will come into effect remains to be seen. It's going to be really entertaining. I am sure of that. And as we'll get this one on the road pretty quickly, the starting lineup will be rolling on the left side of your screen, and it is the number 53 of Noon Akbar who's on the pole. He set the fastest time in qualifying a couple days ago, a 42.937. He'll be joined by the number 23 of James Stack on the front row. Row 2, Samet Ozkin in the number 74 and Noah Clifton in the number 25, making it 4 different manufacturers in the top 4. Benny Watson in the number 98 will start from the 5th position, and the number 7 of Logan Williams will start alongside a couple of veterans of the old days. Another one, Jared Oren in the number 72, teammate to Samet Ozkin at Danger Zone Autospot. He starts 7th, and James Jefferson in the number 54 starts from 8th, and rounding out the top 10, Joseph Wright in the 2nd of the NS Racing Fords, teammates to Benny Watson. He starts 9th, and Nicholas Schlorter starts from 10th for Seminole Motors. Make sure everyone's rolling off, and they are, which is good. As I said before, 50 laps, 125 miles around this 2.5 mile tri-oval, Daytona Beach, Florida. It is going to be an absolute ripper. I'm looking forward to it. Of course, the start of a new season. There's a lot that we are going to learn, of course. Every race is going to be very different, and Daytona can be a bit of a mess at times, I think it's fair to say, in terms of the results. But I'm sure that this race will be highly entertaining. We're going to take a good look at who might be competitive here in 2023. And as they round turn 4 behind the Camry pace car, we'll pull off onto pit road, and we are going to get this series and season underway, 2023, with Noon Akbar and James Stack on the front row. The pace car's on pit road, just waiting for the signal. And there we go, green flag, we are underway in the 2023 Samsung Offline Racing League. Down the back straightaway for the first time. What a start by Noon Akbar. Jumps straight out to the lead in the number 53. They were almost 3 wide for a moment. Whoops. With Stack getting shuffled to the top, and Noah Clifton trying to force the middle lane. Couldn't quite do it. Samet Ozkin in the 74 to the inside here for the lead, and as he crosses the line, he will lead the first lap. So he gets around the 53 of Akbar and leads the first lap of the series. And of course, one of the things that has changed this season is one of the more recent additions is the point system. Originally, we were not going to have laps led as a bonus point, but we have now added that for this season. So if you do lead a lap in this race, you do get a bonus point, as here comes Benny Watson in the number 98 for NS Racing, the JBL Toyota, a familiar combination. Watson and NS Racing. Got a bit of 3 wide back in the pack, as Will Parrish in the middle of Fisher G and Nicholas Schlorter. Watson leads that lap, and he's got his teammate, a couple teammates working together here early on. You've got Joseph Wright here trying to get to his teammate Benny Watson. In fact, he's going to go to the inside here for the lead. And Watson, not a lot of help. fact, no help at all, pretty much. John Stewart all over the back in the Shell Collins Racing 22. As a 3 wide behind for 4th. That's Ricardo Garcia on the inside. Dominic Anthony in the middle. And Jared Oren in the 72 way up top with his teammate Oskin behind him. And the 62 of Echo Evans Ross also moving her way up to the front of the field. Joseph Wright leads lap 3. And John Stewart right behind him in the 22. Single file at the front 2 cars and then 3 wide through a lot of the field back is right on cue. Here comes the 22 to the inside. John Stewart looking to take the lead away here from Joseph Wright on lap 4. We're seeing a lot of early changes for the lead so far, although Dominic Anthony on the back of the 99. One of the good things about Daytona is that you can fight back on that outside lane and you can hang up at the front of the field for a long time. We haven't seen that so far in this race, but right on the outside with a good push. If you got a good push from the guys behind, you get a good train forming. Next life pretty easy. Here's a good train. The 62 here of Echo Evans Ross on that inside with help from Fisher G and Kelly Lee with a massive run to the inside. And Evans Ross, a powerful move. And she will go up and clear Joseph Wright. And oh boy, here comes... Oh, I thought... Kelly Lee for a moment. You saw Fisher G move up the racetrack. One of the things to keep an eye on here at Daytona, 4 wide does not usually work. And G moving up, he sees opening the door just a little bit. That's what they do before the 4 wide. Open the door just a little bit on that bottom lane. And usually it doesn't end well. So, luckily for now, got away with it. G on that inside lane in 3rd, now being shuffled to the middle. John Stewart has cleared. And so has Echo Evans Ross, leading the way in the number 62 for Pacific Racing. One of the teams that will be up there, I think, this year in terms of results. They'll be very fast and very hard to beat. This 99 has cleared. It's right now to the inside of Stewart for 2nd. Anthony's going to go up to the top. And we'll see a lot of the time here at Daytona. We'll see if there's an opportunity to go to either the top or the bottom. A lot of the time on the straightaways, you'll see the cars go to the top. And that's what happened there with Anthony. As Joseph Wright gets shuffled back on that inside. Even his teammate's not going to go with him in Benny Watson. He's going to go to the top side. There's John Stewart here in the 22. Tries to take the lead on the back straightaway. No help. You see Anthony and Watson thought about going to the inside, but decided against it. He's going to move up to the top. Evans Ross controlling this race. It is entirely possible to control a race here at Daytona. It's not easy, but it is possible. As Anthony is going to get shuffled 3 wide. Here goes Watson through the middle. Stewart just barely on that inside. Doesn't have a great run. Watson might be able to clear this 22 into turn 1. And he does. And he's going to look to the inside here for the lead underneath of Echo Evans Ross. We go down the back straightaway. Stewart's going to go 3 wide again. It's not exactly ideal. I'm sure it might have seen a little bit of it already. As Stewart with a powerful run on the inside. But the outside lane, more often than not, is where you want to be. Because more often than not, you can get yourself formed up. So you see Watson slots right down in front of Kelly Lee and behind Stewart. But the outside lane there, they usually are formed up more or better than the inside lane or the middle lane. So the outside lane's where you want to be here at Daytona. It's lap 9 of 50 and Evans Ross has taken control of this race, that's for sure. Battles on for 2nd on back as Anthony here in the 39 who was 2nd here in a Daytona 500 in the old series, driving for the same team, Gifford Technologies Incorporated. 2nd at the moment. And these guys know how to go to victory lane. This team anyway, they did win a Daytona 500 in Season 3. Not Dominic Anthony as a driver, but Tyson Gifford, Gifford Technologies Incorporated, team owner. Won in the old series. Of course, it doesn't matter. All the stats from those days do not matter in this series. In 2023, everyone has equal ratings. It wasn't the case in the old days. And right now, Evans Ross, showing her car has a lot of speed. Yeah, to just hold off everyone behind. In fact, the top two have got a bit of a gap. You don't want to get too far ahead of Daytona. That's, I think that's pretty obvious because unlike a lot of other tracks on the schedule, everyone's just going to get all the way back up. They're going to use the draft, close in onto the back, and potentially swallow you up. But at the moment, the 62 is very, very quick. 39's been able to hold on up here as well. And then it's all on behind Stewart on that inside with help from Logan Williams in the number 7. He's another one of the Gifford cars, teammates of Dominic Anthony. So keep an eye on the 7. You got Garrett Lamar on that inside lane as well. James Stack, our outside pole sitter. A couple guys moving their way up in Brandon Beal. Another Gifford car and Jerry Chen as well on that inside lane. And there's our pole sitter, Noon Akbar, shuffled to the outside lane. As John Stewart's going to clear Joseph Wright on the outside lane. So top 3 now single file here on 11 laps completed. And there goes the 22. So right on cue. Going to try and make the pass to the inside here. But doesn't have a lot of help. From the too far back is the 7. You see Evans Ross is going to run up right up against the... It's going to move up to the wall. Gives the 39 that advantage there. On that outside lane, closes up very quickly as they're 3 wide. They were able to calm themselves down for a bit there with a single file up front and saw a couple of double file, a lot of double file throughout the field. Now we're seeing a couple of instances of 3 wide. We've got a couple of CRT cars here, Lamar and Stack, teammates on that inside lane working together. As Stewart trying to get past this 39 and try and challenge the 62 for the lead. And Evans Ross doing a really good job of controlling this race. You see a lot of movement throughout the field. It's all about right now just pacing yourself. And the good thing, we haven't seen any crazy 4 wide shenanigans. Of course, we did see the Fisher G moment where he did move up just a little bit up the racetrack and could have ended badly if someone did go to the inside. But that was the only instance. We haven't seen any 4 wide otherwise. They've kept themselves relatively composed, which is good. It's what you like to see at this stage in the race. Lap 14 of 50 as Lamar really trying to get to the inside here of Stewart, but just unable to do so. Stewart's doing a good job. He's, you know, it's hard to get past on that outside lane. But if you're in like this middle area, like this second, you know, kind of like middle bottom combination, it's a bit, you do get a bit stagnant, and but it is easier for the guys behind, like Lamar, you know, to get a good run and to get past. So it's doing a good job. So is Anthony on that outside lane. Everybody forming up pretty well. And right on cue, the 31 to the inside here. So we saw Stewart was able to block many times. Was not able to block Garrett Lamar that time. And here he comes for the lead. Don't look now, that 37 of Brandon Beal on that inside lane. The Gatorade Ford was very fast in pre-season testing. Did not show it in qualifying, but is moving his way forward. As here comes the 31 to the inside here for the lead. Evans Ross under pressure. Lamar with a good push from his teammate James Stack. Stack might make it 3 wide. He doesn't. And Garrett Lamar will get a bonus point for leading a lap in the Advance Auto Parts Chevrolet. Evans Ross on that outside lane though. More often than not, that's where you want to be, unless you got a really good pusher behind you. The problem is you kind of, for the guy on the inside here, you know, if you double file with the leader here, if you're on the bottom, you kind of rotate between the middle and the inside, and they're not particularly fast, as I think there's 4 wide potentially back in the pack. Roberto Crown Jr. in the 46 was very low on the racetrack, and I did think for a moment that they were going 4 wide. They were not. We keep it green. Evans Ross still holds the lead of this race, and James Stack in the 23 is going to shuffle his teammate to the middle and go for the lead himself with help from Brandon Beal. You got Brad Stover, who started 35th and in 16 and a bit laps, 16 and a half laps, moved his way up into the top 10, doing a very nice job. Oh boy, here comes Beal. They're 4 wide. And this is where it gets nasty. This is the danger spot right here. Got to be careful. And I think they're going to get away with it, and they are. As Dominic Anthony uses the experience of racing here at Daytona. He fanned the throttle just enough and let Garrett Lamar in. And we avoided a situation where could have been very, very nasty. That's the danger spot there. Turn 4, off at turn 4. When they get 4 wide, they'll bunch up together. They'll rub up alongside each other. And usually it doesn't end well. Luckily now, after that 4 wide situation, everyone started to come down again. It's a 5-car single breakaway. Well, not anymore, because here comes the 31 now to the inside here. Lamar to the inside. He's going to get help from a familiar-looking colour job in Joseph Wright. Pushing this 31. And Anthony straight back to the top, pushing the 62 once again. And Stack here going to go to the top as well. So again, the outside lane, more often than not, you'll see these guys move to the top. It is typically the faster way around this racetrack. That's why we haven't seen too much passing for the lead as of right now. We did see some earlier, but since then, everyone's calmed down and found their own rhythm. And that's important. Rhythm here at Daytona. But at some point, we're going to see guys make moves. Obviously, we just saw that almost 4 wide. It was 4 wide for a moment, but it wasn't quite fully 4 wide. And that's important because we have pit stops in this race. And that's a crucial thing to remember, particularly if this thing goes green. It's about 40-ish laps. 40-ish laps, that's how long of a run it typically is here at Daytona. If this thing stays green, which it has been so far, that's when pit stops will happen. And we're about halfway through the run as of right now, because we're on lap 20. There's Lamar on the inside, and we see a lot of double file throughout the field. Lamar on that inside lane, got a good run at the line. I think he got him. I think he got Evans Ross. And now the 99 is going to make it 3 wide. So Lamar got the lead, but not for long, because Joseph Wright has just put him into the middle with no real help. And it's a good thing for Evans Ross. And you see Brandon Beal here in the 37 going to the middle, perhaps. We get to him. There he is. For a moment, I thought he was going to go to the middle, kind of rotate around that middle and the bottom. Get the opportunity. You don't really want to be doing that too often. Evans Ross has cleared out in front once again. That car is very fast and has been able to control the outside lane very, very well. As Lamar trying to clear Anthony for second, and he does. And it's funny at the end, you know, Joseph Wright went 3 wide for the lead, and the only guy that ended up losing out was Joseph Wright. He ended up losing a couple spots, or at least he's under pressure, because here comes Beal, and Stover through the middle is going to leave Beal out to dry on that bottom lane, and Samuel Francis. So another of the CRT cars. We've got 3 of them up here in the top 10 at the moment. Francis, Stack, and Garrett Lamar, of course, in second. So a strong outing for them so far, and only the top 15 gets team points. That's important to note. Top 15 gets team points. Everyone else beyond that does not. So that's one thing to keep in mind here at Daytona. Top 3 single file, approaching the halfway mark. Top 3 single file, and they're 3 wide behind as Stover's found his way to the bottom. And here we go. Francis. Anthony again looks like he's going to just fan the throttle just enough to get out of it. And Lamar has cleared the 62 for the lead. So there you go. No help for Evans Ross. Obviously the outside lane, you can get the... You go just a little bit faster earlier with the acceleration and get on it a bit faster. And problem for Evans Ross there was that she had no one to help her out. Joseph Wright and Garrett Lamar were working with each other, and that's how that ended up happening. But now they're 1 and 2, and Advanced Auto Parts will probably post this kind of image on their socials, because they're 1 and 2 at the moment, with Wright trying to take the lead away from Lamar. Stover's done well. He's moved his way up on that inside lane. He started a long way back, as I mentioned. He's moved his way forward. There's Francis. They're kind of shuffling themselves around here in this top 10. 1, 2 for the time being. Going to have 26 to go this time. So still a long way to go in this one. across the line, and you see the push that the outside lane gets, and just that early acceleration, it's so vital here at Daytona. On that top side, you can get formed. It looks pretty good. You're in a pretty good position. Side by side. It's double file for the first probably 8-ish cars. And then it's 3 wide back there. Brandon Beal, John Stewart, Kelly Lee on the outside. That's where you want to be. Oh, and Evans Ross going up the racetrack, maybe trying to get a bit of a run. Stack is there, trying to go through the middle. They're 4 wide back here. That's Stewart, Beal, and oh, they're up in the wall. There they go. They're wrecking. Samadio around, Beal around, Caleb Rose, Noah Clifton, and others. Oh, Roberto Crown Jr. into the wall. Big crash. And the first caution of the season. Oh dear. They went 4 wide. Brandon Beal was there. Look at the damage on Jerry Chen's car. It's torn the whole left front out of it. Alejandro Cruz Jr. went around. Kelly Lee, Ethan Lewis with a lot of damage. Chase Harris was involved in the 47, so that's 2 of the danger zone cars. John Stewart looked very fast. He has a lot of damage, and Noah Clifton's day is definitely done. And right at the halfway mark as well. Will Parrish, 0-2. I'm not sure the total extent of the cars involved, but it was certainly the big one. The first time we've seen it today. It comes right at the midway point. Garrett Lamar won the race back to the line. He is the leader. And so we are going to have pit stops. And, you know, it's a good thing in the end, actually, right at the midway point. These guys will easily make it back on fuel as long as they don't do anything stupid with the fueling. And the 31 started a long way back too. So he's done a great job to move his way forward. Anthony was definitely involved. He got a bit of damage, so that's a shame for him. We'll see here. We'll follow with James Stack here in the 23. It's going to be one of the last cars. Obviously one of the last pit stalls. Lamar looks like he's done. And he is done. He wins the race off of pit road. Brad Stover is second. James Stack. Sebastian Palmer, we haven't seen him up front. He's moved his way forward. Thomas Truxell, top 5. And Joseph Wright lost a couple spots in all that. So it's not the be-all and end-all on pit road, but it's a good result for the 31 to hold the lead. And let's take a look at what happened to trigger the caution. A big one right at the halfway mark. So Brandon Beal here moves up the racetrack in the 37. We saw it a couple times and they got away with it. This time's not the case. I don't even know why he has to move up the racetrack. You see Davis there in the 6 trying to get past the 37, but he's not even really alongside. It certainly could have held on for a bit longer and just... Beal didn't have to move up the racetrack, but he moves up the racetrack, and John Stewart and Kelly Lee on the outside with nowhere to go. And Dominic Anthony right there gets clipped. A hard hit for these guys. You see the 7 of Williams, Sam Adio, Rose, Logan Thomas there in the 45 gets a piece of it. Will Parrish back in here. It's on. Alejandro Cruz, Stephen Colon, Henry Gore, Will Parrish. You see Clifton up there in the 25. He gets rear-ended by Roberto Crown Jr., who goes up into the wall later on. There's Colon again, Cruz, Fitzwater, Lewis, Lee. A bit of damage there on Chase Harris. Garcia. A little bit of contact there. Schlaughter in the 20 runs into the front of the 26. Continue on, sliding up the racetrack still. There's the 47 getting more damage. Front end to front end contact between the 47 and the 00. Whoa, and that's the 47 going over. Jerry Chen runs into the right side of Chase Harris and he flips over the top of John Stewart. See the 53, our pole sitter, Agbar. Zachary Fitzwater in the 24. Maybe Ozken as well, potentially. Who was leading early on. Gore is definitely involved in the 71. A lot of good race cars torn up. A wreck that, to be honest with you, was pretty unnecessary. Going to take a look at this real time. We're going to follow John Stewart here in the 22. He was right in the thick of it. Squeezed, just no room. Runs out of room and that's it. Run into by Cruz. See Harris, a lot of damage there. And that's how the 22 got spun around again. Lewis going, and look at that. That's a massive hit for Harris and Chen. I don't know how the 47's still going. I don't know how the 36 ended up continuing on from that. Obviously, I mean, his day's done, but I don't know how he was able to drive it back to the pits. A lot of damage and a lot of good race cars torn up. Right on board here with Kelly Lee in the number 26. See this all unfold right around her. And Akbar got into the 26 right at the end. That's where he got his damage. Chase Harris going upside down. It's been a pretty miserable speed weeks for him, to be honest. Ethan Lewis, Fitzwater, we saw Cruz with a lot of damage. Noah Clifton, that car was fast in qualifying. Fell back earlier, but that's a massive shame. The 52. Crown Jr. Lots of cars all turn up. Will Parrish in the O2. What a massive shame for all of them. But anyways, cautions out for the first time. Garrett Lamar's the race leader. Will take you back to the green. About to go back to green. We'll have about 21 laps to go. Garrett Lamar's the race leader. Brad Stover is second. James Stack third. Sebastian Palmer and Thomas Troxel up in the top five. A couple of guys we haven't seen pretty much all day, moving their way forward. And you see the cars here on the ticker out of the race. Alejandro Cruz, Roberto Crown Jr., Will Parrish, John Stewart, Noah Clifton, Jerry Chen, Ethan Lewis, and Chase Harris, all out of the race. And we have a lot of cars with damage. One of the new things for this year, if you are off the pace, you might be taken off the racetrack. So if you're well off the pace, you're probably going to get taken off the racetrack. So just so we can have, or at least here at Daytona, Talladega, so we have less lap car situations, because they can be quite bad here at Daytona. The green flag's back out. Lamar leads the field here from Stover, Stack, Palmer, and Troxel. Oh, and Evans Ross has got a problem. The 62's got a problem around. Around goes Watson in front of the field, and everybody's going to avoid him. And Evans Ross has a problem, and the caution's back out immediately. Oh my goodness, we barely just got back to green. That is a massive disappointment. Echo Evans Ross, who had an extremely fast race car, has got some sort of issue. And the 98 somehow got spun around. I don't think he hit anything. I think he doesn't have any damage. But certainly a problem for Echo Evans Ross. Race back to the line will be won here by Garrett Lamar in the number 31, so he'll retain the lead. Sebastian Palmer now up into second. And then Wright, Stover, and Samuel Francis. This is the big story. Evans Ross, who's led so much of this race already, looks to be out of it. And certainly, at the very minimum, out of contention here for the win. A massive shame for her and for Pacific Racing. Anyways, as I said before, Garrett Lamar is the race leader. We won't have pit stops this time, so we'll take you straight to the replay to see what happened to trigger the second caution. Well, here's what happened. So Echo Evans Ross gets up to speed. Nothing too unusual here. And then all of a sudden, you're going to see right about here, she starts slowing down. Some sort of issue, maybe a tyre potentially. Something happens to the 62 regardless. And you see Travis Crampton here, the 41, does a nice job of avoiding, pulling towards the air or the outside. Does a very nice job of avoiding Eli Bryant, who's coming up the racetrack. And then everyone stacks up. And Ricardo Garcia gets into the 72 of Jared Oren and turns it down into Benny Watson, who is just the most unwilling of victims in that one. And he goes for a couple of 360s. And Samet Oskin does a nice job getting through that in the 74. Could have been a lot worse for him. It could have been a lot worse for Watson. Everybody avoids him. It's pretty good effort from everybody. But that is a massive shame for the 98. He'll continue. He will be up to speed. He'll be fine. That's not going to be an issue. He'll be at the back, but yeah, he's not going to have a damaged race car. But certainly Evans Ross out of contention here for the first race of the year. What a massive shame for her. We're going to follow here with Ricardo Garcia's on board and just kind of see how it all unfolds for him. See, everybody start to check up right about now. Slows down. It's just a little bit of contact. It's not much. It's not much. It's enough to get into Oren, and it's enough to send the 98 spinning. That is a big blow for Watson. Of course, the real loser here is actually going to be Evans-Ross, who's out of contention for the Daytona 500. Watson's probably out of contention for the 500, but Evans-Ross, 62 was extremely quick. And now trundling on the back straightaway. A tough break for her and a tough break for Watson. Caution's out for the second time. We'll take you back to our second restart of the day. About to go back to green here at Daytona. Garrett Lamar, Sebastian Palmer, Joseph Wright, Brad Stover, Samuel Francis. That's the top five. And then James Stack, Max Davis, Thomas Truxell. Dominic Anthony still up in ninth, despite getting involved in the crash. And then Braden Perez, who looks like the only real contender now for Pacific Racing. Bit of damage on the right side of the 92. Logan Thomas as well, also with a bit of damage in the 45. Caught up in the crash, the big one, and running in 11th. Evans-Ross was able to get back out there, but she is now a lap down and out of contention. So, massive shame. Unless there's a caution, which is not impossible. We've seen two now, and might be able to get back on the lead lap from that. She is the highest placed lap down car, of course. So we get back to green. It's Lamar, Palmer, and then Wright, Stover, and Francis. With the lap, lucky dog rule, I suppose. We'll just call it that for the sake of it. If there is another caution, and she's the fastest car, or the highest running car a lap down, then she'll be able to get back on the lead lap. But her race is probably over. It's Joseph Wright trying to find a space around the 15, and there he goes to the inside of Palmer here for second. We've seen him, he's been up front pretty much all day. Lamar has moved his way forward after having a disappointing qualifying effort. Moved his way forward, same with Stover in the 29. But Wright's been up here all day, and he is going to take the lead as there's no real help here for the 31. Here comes Stover in the 29. With help from Stack on that bottom lane. Trying to find a way around Joseph Wright here for the lead on lap with about 14 and a bit laps to go rather. Still a long way to go in this one. And of course nobody did pit under the last caution except for Evans-Ross, and I think we saw the 71 on pit road before as well of Henry Guo. I think he had to pit again. Right on that outside lane, in the number 99. He continues to hold the lead, and he's got the 31 behind him of Garrett Lamar. It's getting down to crunch time. It's not quite there yet, but it is getting pretty close. Double file throughout the pack. Go back here to Fisher G in the 28, Jake Rogers in the 9, and then you got Oren and Oskin, who of course qualified well, were up front earlier, fell back, and now trying to work their way back to the front. Kyle McLeese here in the 56, Garcia. We've got a bit of damage in the crash, still looks like a decent speed, and then these guys probably, Akbar, Miles, Brandon Beal, Caleb Rose probably all too slow. There is the 71 on pit road, and he has been, so he's been taken out of the race because he's failed to meet minimum speed. So he is done for today's race, which is a massive shame. And of course, while we were looking at that, we missed the 31 to Garrett Lamar, who took the lead. He led at the line, but now stuck in the middle as Palmer on the outside and Joseph Wright clearing here at the 99 for the lead. So the 31 was able to get to the bottom, get to the inside of the 99. Took the lead for a moment. Does not have the lead anymore. Here comes Stack in the 23. He's going for third. Thomas Truxell behind him, and Dominic Anthony, even with the damage sustained in the crash, on that inside lane, and looks pretty quick. He still definitely in with a chance here in the Daytona 500. Here comes the 23. Good push there from Truxell. There's now Stack to the inside, trying to get past this 99. That's a very good run down the back straightaway for James Stack. And he might be able to clear here for the lead. Coming to 11 to go this time. Brent Perez looking very low in that Pacific Racing Toyota, the Hulu Toyota. Got to be careful. We saw what happened earlier. You don't want to be repeating that. I actually don't know if the 92 was involved in the crash or not. It has a bit of damage. I don't know if that's a glitch or not, but remains to be seen. James Stack has taken the lead here in the 23. He has cleared out in front. Truxell in the 27 right now, and that's stuck behind the 23 on that outside lane. Truxell in the 27 on the inside. Anthony moving his way up. Fisher G in the 28. Saw him up front earlier. He nearly made it 4 wide. They are going to go 4 wide. Oh, be careful. I think they're going to back it off. They do. Oh. That's very risky. That is very, very risky. But you can see it's desperation time for a lot of these guys. You got to get to the front as soon as you can. And Fisher G, well, certainly trying to make it happen in the Nike number 28 for Buck Racing. Stack on the outside holding the lead. Truxell in second, right on that outside. Anthony trying to move his way up on the inside, but the damage may be affecting him. He's still up here, as you see the 92 trying to again go to the inside, but doesn't do it. But the 39 with a bit of damage. It's probably holding them back on that inside lane. As Stack on the outside continues to lead. In terms of guys out of the race, we've had more guys retire. So the 71, of course, Henry Bohr out of the race. Stephen Cologne is out of the race. James Jefferson is out of the race. And I think we've just seen, we've just seen Nicholas Samadeo and Kelly Lee also failed to meet minimum speed. And I think going to see here the 24 is going to pit. So there's going to be a few of them that are failing to keep up with minimum speed, which is a shame, but them's the rules. And hopefully keeps us clean and green the whole way. Stack on the out in front, right on that outside lane. We've seen a couple of times where the car's on the outside. If you're second on that outside lane, you know the lead is going to go to the top. And if you can't, a guy like Wright, you've been able to get a good enough run and cut down in front of the car on the inside and challenge for the lead. I think the 99 might be able to do that if this inside lane just cannot get themselves sorted. Although Thomas Truxell, that 27's pretty quick, and he's got a good run. And here he goes to the inside as Wright moves up the racetrack, almost opened the door for Lamar. And here comes Truxell with a big run to the inside of James Stack. They're going to be side by side down the front straightaway. It looks like Thomas Truxell is going to lead it with 7 laps to go for Team Velocista. They have 2 cars in this pack. Stover, of course, in the 29 as well. Also running up at the front of the field. Side by side, off of 2. Truxell was unable to clear. It opens the door for Stack to to get past on this outside lane once again. It is the preferred line. It is where you want to be. And if you're back in the pack, I mean, I said before, you have to make moves. Well, you got to make moves now. If you're a guy back here like careful, Fisher G again. Seen that a couple times with the 28. Get to him, there he is. Seen him a couple times with him. Stack leads it with 6 to go. And this pack goes down to Logan Thomas in 19th. And those are the 19 cars probably going to be competing for the win unless something happens as Anthony goes 3 wide for the lead. Even with a damaged race car. He's doing a good job, and here comes Perez. Oh, they're going to go 4 wide. Stack clears on the outside. He's in a good spot. They're 4 wide. And this is the danger zone right here. Oh, Anthony's going to get behind Truxell. Good run for the 27. And somehow they kept it straight. Now's a good time to let you guys know we have overtime if required. So keep that in mind. As we got under 5 laps to go. We are in the stage where if it comes into effect, there's a little bit of contact. Perez and Anthony banging off each other. That's not exactly ideal. It's not a smart thing to do. But Perez just trying to move his way forward. Stack holds the lead, right? Trying to get a good enough run to clear the 27 on that inside lane. Won't be able to do it. Truxell able to hold on. Oh, careful again. G and Anthony at 28. More than okay by the looks of it to make it 4 wide at some point. As Truxell now to the inside here in the 27. He's trying to take this lead away with a heck of a run. He's got a bit of an advantage down the back straightaway. But they're not formed up to the level they need to be. Perez right behind the 27. But Wright and James Stack doing an excellent job on that outside lane. As now G goes 3 wide. He's going for 3rd. And try and have a shot at the win. As we've got 3 laps to go this time. And Stack on the outside lane in the 23. Looking to win from the outside pole. Truxell just trying to find a partner. Maybe G's the one. The couple of BMWs on the outside. Sorry, the inside rather. So man, Oskin's moved his way up here and they are very close to crashing. They're moving up on each other, leaning on each other. Times are getting desperate. Rogers has moved his way up here in the 9. And Eli Bright's moving his way forward as well. I haven't seen either of them in this race up to this point. But James Stack here in the 23, trying to cover both lanes. He won't be able to do it. Here comes Truxell once again to the inside with help from G this time with 2 laps to go. Side by side through 1 and 2. Truxell's far out ahead, but not far enough ahead to clear the 23. And that outside lane again. As Nicolas Schlort is going to take the 20 to pit road. He's probably done for the day. But he couldn't quite clear that 23 on the outside. Here we go. Coming to the white flag. First race of the season, Daytona 500, 1 lap to go as Lamar tries to force a middle lane. He doesn't. It's go time. Truxell inside with help from a fellow BMW. In G. James Stack on the outside with help from the 99 and Rogers trying to force the middle lane. Side by side down the back straightaway for the final time. Stack takes the advantage into 3 and 4. Truxell trying to get that inside lane to work. I don't think he will. I think Fisher G's too far back. They're too well connected on the outside. James Stack comes down and wins at Daytona. On the outside lane. On the outside pole. Shuffled back early on, but he makes his way to the front when it matters. And James Stack for Crisis Racing Team and Chris Marnell win the Daytona 500, the first race of the Samsung Offline Racing League for 2023. What a performance by Stack. What a performance by the entire organization. Excellent performance. An excellent performance from Thomas Truxell. He tried his absolute best. I can guarantee you that. It just wasn't to be for him. He'll finish second. Still a very good result, all things considered. Joseph Wright, he'll be disappointed. That car probably could have won the race. He finishes up in 3rd. Fisher G worked his way back up to the front late. He finished 4th. And Garrett Lamar led a bunch of laps and he ends up 5th. But it is James Stack, the number 23 Valvoline Chevrolet, who'll be going to victory lane and will start the year on the best note possible. Well done to him. Well done to Crisis Racing Team. Fantastic performance. And that will do it for us at the Daytona International Speedway. Thank you so much for coming along and watching from home. It's fantastic to have you along for this one, and looking forward to the next race. That'll be next week at Atlanta. Looking forward to it. We'll see you then. Here are the points for the 2023 Samsung Offline Racing League. Congratulations to James Stack and Crisis Racing Team. And here are the points. We'll see you next week.